to Spirited Outdoors. I've got one of my better coon skins that I tanned, I don't know, a year or so ago. I've had them hanging up. And I have, since I tanned these, I have got a whole lot better at tanning. But still, this one is decent. And it was a pretty coon, had some red in the tail. And I got in my mind, I need me a new hat. My ears is getting cold out there. These old do-rags are just a little thin on the ears. And I just wanted to make a mountain man coonskin hat. So this video, we're going to attempt to do this. Now, there's a lot of patterns for just a coonskin hat, but I want the face on the front of it. So I'm just going to kind of go at this, okay? I have thought about it. I can't really say that I've got the best idea. And like I said, this is not the best tanned hide to do this with, but it'll work. So, first thing I'm going to do is split this up the middle. Now, I've got one over there that is already split up the middle, but it's just not, it's got some, the hair slipped on it in a place or two. Now, this was a big old boar coon. So I'm just going to take my buck knife here, and we're going to just split him right up the belly. If I'd have known that I was going to do this, I would have probably split it before tanning it. Would have saved me a lot of work. But I didn't know but what I was going to use it for a wall hanger. Now, I don't know if I want to split that all the way out the chin or not. I do think I am, okay? There's probably a couple of different ways to do this. All right, we got that spread out. My problem on tanning, I've found out, I don't think I have been fleshing stuff quite as good as it really needed to be. Because I noticed that after tanning, I can peel a little bit of stuff out. And it ain't the whole thing, it's just in a few areas. The main part of the hide is good. Okay, so what we got to do now is figure out how to go about what we're doing. So I need some straight edges right here to sew along. All right, I'll get one of these little old flimsy tape measures. I don't know if y'all can see real good right here on what I have done, but I went all the way across. This is about 13 inches, okay? And I drew me a sort of a swooping line, you know, a kind of a curved line across here. And this is approximately, the shortest part is 5 inches. And then right here at the tail, you know, you got 8 inches all the way down here to where my thumb is, but 6 to right up there. So you got plenty hanging down in the back. So right here, I did another curved line across there. And I may have to trim some of that off. That's going to be my front piece. I'll sew it to the front. And then what I'm going to do is this head is it's like 6 inches. I'll probably have to cut this head off and stitch it back in with the front of this. So right here, I got about 5 inches of an oval, and it's about 8 inches long. So I drew me an oval right there in the center of that back. And obviously this will be the front, and that'll be the back. That way the hair's going the right way. And then, of course, we'll turn this with the hair going down. Now, these sides get pretty thin, but now this was a good boar coon, so he had a thick hide all the way down here. And that's why I'm doing this out of coon. I made one of these out of fox one time, and it didn't hold up real good. It's just paper thin, and it got damp, and it wouldn't. I ended up having to throw it away, I hate to say. But I may make another one eventually. But now I'm fixing to take my knife and cut all of this stuff out. Let me get this right here to do my work. I spilled some oil over there in my floor. I really didn't spill the oil. You see right down there, I had a wrench. I was fooling with something, and there was a jar with some cooking oil in it. And I dropped that jar, and it's I mean, I had a mess all in the floor. I'm telling you, my floor's treated now. That's what I treated that spot. It wasn't an accident. I just didn't want it to rot right there. Now, I know somebody's going to be watching this, and they're going to say, oh, it's not professional. No, it's not. And you're probably not going to see a whole lot of professionalism on this channel unless if you're looking for a professional smart aleck, you're probably at the right place. Okay. I am not as good as some of my buddies. There's a fellow what watches this channel that's as good a smart aleck as they ever was. And I think a lot of him. I ain't going to bust him out on here, but he knows who I'm talking about. I grew up right. Some of them boys was my heroes. All right. Look at that mess right there, boy. Well, I didn't get all that hair. I wanted all that hair even. Because that's going to be right in the front. And I wanted a nice set of bangs, you know. I don't want that hair hanging down in my eyes. I done built one of these hats. And I know a lot of people want to leave that hair wild. But, man, that gets annoying when you're trying to look for squirrels up in trees and whatnot. And that old hairs are sticking down in your eyes like that. And you go, it's a mess. Now, the reason I'm doing this crude is an old mountain man sitting in a tent somewhere, got cold winter, went to make him a hat. Now, he's not going to have all that fancy stuff that you order from Tandy Leather Company. He didn't have Amazon, so he did kind of what I'm doing. He just, got his knife out and went to whittling. So that's kind of the reason we're going to do this way. And y'all, it ain't real hard to make this stuff. It's more intimidating than anything. Now, we got us a good mess made. If you don't make a mess, you probably ain't doing it right. So, just bear that in mind. You know what I mean, Burn? All right. Now that I'm here, I want to turn y'all around where you can look me in the eyeballs. I'm going to sit down here at this table. I don't know right where I'm going to cut this off yet. I hadn't made a decision. I got a pack of needles here. I don't know where I ordered them online somewhere, and I don't know if you can still even order them or not. But if you're going to do projects, you need some. And I got my awl out. Now this, I made this awl. This is just a piece of wire from a dog pen. And I throwed it in the fire over there and then dipped it in water and hardened it, and it don't bend. It works pretty good. I'm going to make me a bone one. I don't know what kind of string this is, but judging by my fingers, you can kind of tell what's it. It's small, but it's a sewing commercial, like for sewing canvas. I don't even know where I got this. I think I found it at a yard sale or something. So it's not waxed. But it is nylon because it'll melt real good. So what I do is I'm going to pull me a length off. I'm not going to try to do a whole lot at a time. I'm going to sew this with a whip stitch. And when I run out, I'll tie it off and cut me another piece and start over. I'm not going to try to pull out enough thread to do the whole thing in one run. I don't see the point in it. We're going to spend the next 10 minutes trying to thread this needle. Heating that up till it... You see how I did that now? That's an Indian trick right there. Let's see which one we want to be. That is the front right up there. So I want to sew this back on first. So I want to line everything up here good. poke me a hole. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this through there and get it started. And I'm gonna tie a knot in it here. That way I ain't gotta keep chasing it. So I'm gonna do a square knot, but I do 2 loops instead of just one, and kind of cinch that down there a little bit. And then I'll put me another knot in there, and then I'll burn that off and melt it together. Y'all hear that dog out there carrying on? I was out there a while ago. I got a grill up there on the porch lit, and I'm smoking some ribs. I just cooked my ribs, and I built a fire in that firebox on that grill on the porch, and I had to go up there and check on that, so I cut the camera off and went and done that. Well, while I was up there, I heard some coyotes back down in the way hollering, and poked my thumb with that needle there, doggone it. So I went to howling at them a little bit there and stirred them up. Now they mad, and the dog is mad too. If I hear a coyote hollering, there's just something about it. I can't resist the urge to howl back at him. I may have some wild in me, reckon. But anyway, y'all see how I'm doing this. I'm going to just stitch on around this. I did get my multi-tool here out because there's a time or two I pull that needle. But now this thing has an awl on it that is actually a really good awl. I really ought to be using it, I guess. Sometimes that moves. Now, I wanted to mention one other thing. As you sewing this, keep your hair pushed back, and you've got to roll this. You see how this is coming up off the table on me over here? And you may not can see real good. I'll try to get you. But see, this is curling up. You got to keep pulling this around till you get sewed to where you want to be on that. So, but I was going to show you too before I cut the camera back off. There's right here. This has a really good awl. And that's why I like this multi-tool. If I was going to get a Leatherman, and I don't have anything against Leatherman, they're a little high. This one here is about 30-something bucks, and I put it, every time I use it, I put it in the description in my thing. You can order them on Amazon, but it is a Gerber. But it's got pliers, and these cutters have proved to me, now there's a slight gap in them, but now these is wore out. And there's some play in them now. I've had these things 10 years. The blade's locked, though. And that's something I like, because if you got an awl on there and you jamming something, you don't want that to fold up. The saws, I require a multi-tool to have a saw. Obviously to have a cutting blade. This one has a serrated thing. Serration is pointless to me. I don't use it much. It's okay. It's got a can opener, that's important. A pair of scissors that cuts fishing line is important to me. I like to use them scissors on fishing line, sometimes a lot easier. And then obviously I use the flathead and the screwdriver. So this has precisely all the things I like on a multi-tool. It has an extra, the serration is the only extra thing that it has that I could care less about or whatever. And every bit of it locks. So y'all, that makes this tool right here hard to beat. So before I cut the camera back off, I'm going to use this all a time or two just to see how well it works on this. Doggone, it actually worked better than what I was using, really. maybe what I finish this out with. The only thing is that has a square edge. It can puncture a little more of a hole than you really want. And I'm trying to stay about 1/8 of an inch inside my leather here on my hat, on my skin, just to keep from, and I didn't get a good hold on the back. That is another thing. That's why I had the pliers out here. I can grab that when I don't get a hold good on the back side and pull that on through. I run out of string right here before I got to the end of this, so I tied it off and singed it down, and I'm going to pick up. I didn't really know if that was important to film that or not, but it don't hurt. I like for y'all to know that everything don't just come out perfect. In fact, usually nothing rarely ever does. Any success you have is usually because you made it happen. Stuff don't just fall together. I wanted to talk to you about these stitches. The reason I'm doing this, poke one hole, instead of going around there and poking all my holes, it'd be tempting to do that. I'm working this around and I'm trying to keep my stitches tight. Because you got to think, you pulling this down on your head, I want to try to make it fit snug. I measured around my head and I came up with almost 23 inches. And I don't know that I was precise with that. Guesstimation, but I mean, when you got that little metal doohickey on the end of a tape measure using, I could have went in there and got my wife's good sewing tape measure, but I really didn't think about it. It did that time. All right. You see how I'm melting that? That's working really good for me. So now I got to start over by poking my hole and tying it. But what I mean by these stitches is I'm having to twist this around. In other words, I poke that hole and I want to keep them lined up. I have tried to do by poking all my holes and everything and then go to sewing. Well, you always get off somewhere. And does that matter? Maybe not, but it bothers me. I like for things to come out, be like I want them, so and so I'm tying a square knot right here, and I know you can't see, but I'm going through making just a square knot with a loop, and then I'm poking the tag in. Before I tighten down, I wrap through the loop twice instead of just one time for the square knot. It just helps me, and then it'll slip down. Is that the best knot? I don't know. I just wanted you to know what I was doing. Because somebody will want to know. It'll be important to somebody. And I realize some of y'all that are, and I'm going to send that hair down too. That got on my lighter there. Some of y'all that are probably way better at some of this than I am. But then again, there's some of you that hadn't ever done nothing like this before in your life and you're interested. So sometimes I don't explain everything I'm doing because I take for granted, well, most people know this. And I realize that there are some kids that watch this channel and there's some people that don't, have no clue about what I'm doing. So the reason that I don't always explain everything is I don't want everybody to think, well, I just think everybody's an idiot or everybody don't, But you have to explain stuff for the handful of what may be kids watching or whatever else, Okay, I got that stitched up. Now, I've figured out something right here already. I'm going to wish I hadn't cut all this front hair off so short, because whenever I get through there, it's going to be a good chance that there is a seam a showing. So what I'm going to do, and that, boy, that is thick on that back up here at the front. Boy, that's going to be tough, tough, tough. I'm going to sew this deep. In other words, I'm not going to try to stay close to the edge. I'm going to back on up on there and sew that. And then I may have to trim some of it off. Come on. Know what I mean, Vern? Some of y'all don't even know who Vern is, do you? Woo, y'all. I'm going to have to use this thing over him. That bottom, that coon had a tough hide up there on his back. Now, come on. Woo-wee. You talking about tough now. I might ought to take something and go to scraping on that and thin that down some, y'all, before I sew that. Reckon that's a mite thick there, boys. Y'all, speaking of pocket knives, a man is supposed to tote a pocket knife. Now, mind you, I keep one in each pocket because I don't never know which hand is going to be free. Now, this, and I like to have one that I can open with one hand. Because not to fight. I ain't talking about fighting with a knife. We talking about if you're working on something and you get in a bind and you need to cut something loose. You say you get something wrapped around your hand, you need to cut a string, or you working on something and you having to hold it and I need to cut this right quick. Well, you need to be able to open it with one hand. But now this is more my skinning and working. My buddy Don Lanier gave me that. I've showed it a time or two, but I really like that knife. It's got a beautiful handle. It's got that road runner on it, and then it says Texas. Got the I think this is a handmade, but I like a trapper. There's a couple other pocket knives I like, but you know, I reached and grabbed my pocket knife, and I'm doing most all of this work that I'm doing to this hide as far as cutting my strings and all that stuff, which I burn a lot of that string into. But y'all, you need a good pocket knife. And I tell you what it tells me. When I meet a man and he ain't got a pocket knife, I can tell you he don't fix nothing. This man, he's a professional kind of guy. So if you're gonna learn how to tinker on stuff and try to repair stuff, you need a pocket knife in your pocket. I had a fella ask me one day, he said, "You got your pocket knife?" I said, "I got my britches on, don't I?" I said, "That's the only reason I wear a pair of britches is so I can have a place to put my pocket knife." I'm going to thin this out and get started on that. I'd like to tell you one thing. If we make very many of these, there'll definitely be a new awl making project come up before long, because that joker's got to have a handle on it. I like it better than that big one because it spreads out. It makes one hole way bigger before it gets through to the other hole. Well, I close my pliers. Every now and then that string don't want to come through there. I have to give it a snatch with them pliers. But this one, it'll make a hole better. But the time I make a hole in the back one back there, it makes the front one way too big because it's tapered out, and this is a straight, so I like this better for the hole that it makes. So I'm going to have to make one that's... I seen Uncle Sasquatch, he had a triangle one he had got from somewhere. Where'd you find that all at? I need to know where to get me one. I'm probably going to forge me one, though, and put it on the handle. Y'all know how I am. If I need something, the first thing I do is see if I can make it. And I feel like I can. So, but my problem right here is this top hide's so doggone thick. I mean, it's thick, y'all. I got to this edge, and you see I got my pieces is too long. I did that a purpose. If you measure and get everything like you want it, you can not do it that way. But now that hair sticking out on the inside, I'll just burn that off. It smells a mite funny, but you just have to kind of tolerate some things. All right, well, we're gonna stitch around this other side. All right, I done made it around to this stitch right here, this last one on that top part. So I'm gonna go ahead and cinch that off. Y'all, it done got wintertime here in Mississippi. It's cold up in here. I got a fire going over there, but it's about died down, and I hadn't really stoked it up. So, we're going to do some experimenting. I'm curious of how that front turned out. Oh, it don't look too bad. I was worried about my seam there. But it looks all right. See, that back seam's kind of got a little bit of a, I don't know. I cut that. I should have left that hair on there. Okay. All right. I gotta figure out how tight I want this. Oh, yeah. Because, see, if it comes down over my eyes, I can still take my knife or my scissors or something and trim that off. So that's kind of the way I'm going to. Boy, when you glue that down like I do, you spend half your time trying to figure out where the end of that string, there it is. Tell you the truth. All right. I'm on this side. I got it marked right here where I want to sew at. That's where I pulled it tight to, and I pulled it tight to right there, and I marked it. So I'm going to cut in about 1/4 of an inch. So I don't know that I'm doing right. I'm just... Okay. And y'all see how good that cut out. Boy. Having a good sharp knife is money, I'm gonna tell you. All right, we got that shaved off. We're gonna, let's get this turned back. Inside outwards, inward outwards, something like that. In other words, no, you know, and all that. Get this turned a couple different ways from Sunday. We're going to have a hard time of sewing that head on. I'm going to just be honest with y'all. That head... Well, sir, what I done is I went in there and ate. Now I can't find none of my stuff. There's my needle. I still had enough string, didn't I? Well, sir. Well, I had some ribs on the grill out there, and I had to go check on them, and they looked done, and I just went on in there and ate. So I'm filled up. And y'all, let me tell y'all, listen, this is a good one. It's been a little bit now. I had to come out here and stoke the fire back up because I'd done been in there so long it about burned out. But my phone died that I'm filming with, so I had to charge it up. Brody, while I was eating, he had this puzzle he was toting around. I said, Daddy, put this puzzle together. I want to put this puzzle. I said, okay, I will put it together. No big deal. He's got several of them little puzzles in there. You know, some of them's got the states and some of them's got, you know, they ain't about 10, 15 pieces. It'll take but a minute to put one together. So I just agreed to it. Well, he crawls up there. I said, well, bring it over here to the bar. I was sitting there, I pushed my plate to the side. I said, crawl up here in this chair on the other side right here with your puzzle, and we'll put it together. He crawled up there, y'all. He had a 500-piece puzzle. I said, whoa, now here, this ain't what I agreed to now. I done told him I'd help him, so. Me and him and Emily's been in there putting puzzles together, and I got a piece of the barn. I got the barn put together. Emily's about got the whole outside put together, so. We'll be the next 3 or 4 days on a blooming puzzle, because now that we've started it, we got to finish it. Boy, that young, and I'm telling you the truth now. I did want to say right here, I'm sewing I put my marks, they like a 1/4 inch back, so I'm sewing toward my mark. I didn't just start out at a 1/4 inch because I had to start from my point, so I'm trying to keep my stitching somewhat straight, but I'm still just poking a hole and running this needle through it. Y'all, I like to talk while I'm sewing. One of my buddies called, or texted me actually, and asked me what kind of GoPro I recommended for like an entry-level camera. Y'all, I do not like a GoPro. I hadn't never actually had a GoPro, but everybody that I see that uses one, all their videos looks like everything's in the background's curved. I don't like that. I do have a good Nikon camera and a Canon camera I have used several times. But y'all, right now, I am filming everything on my phone. I have an iPhone 13. I can turn the screen facing me, and I don't have it mirrored. You have to go into your settings and fix where your screen mirroring is turned off, because when you do that, you don't want everything in reverse. That way you can actually read stuff behind me. I watched my buddy Yacht up there. He was filming some stuff, and he was talking about a sign that was behind him, and you couldn't even read it. He had his phone and mirrored imaging. But I like filming with my iPhone for several reasons, and I'll explain it to you. Number one, it's waterproof. If I fall out of the canoe, turn the canoe over, if it rains on me, whatever, it's waterproof. I don't have to worry about it. It has image stabilization. If I pick it up and want to do selfie mode, walking around with it in my hands, it's a little movie, but everything ain't like jumping. You know what I mean? You can stand to watch it. The autofocus, my biggest gripe with these Nikon big cameras is you got to spend so much time trying to make sure everything's in focus. Well, it's got a flip around screen, but the screen's like this big. I had to go get my bifocals out to see what. The iPhone's got a big old screen. I can just glance at it and tell if I'm in focus, if I'm on screen, So, y'all, I'm doing all my filming from my iPhone. And the next big thing that sells me on that is I can edit on my phone and upload from my phone. I don't even have to go sit down in front of the computer. I can sit back in my recliner with my feet propped up and sit there on my phone and do everything I want to do with it. So that's where I'm at with that. I know I've had several people ask me about it. Now I will say this: if you are thinking about filming, you are thinking about, I want to start me a YouTube channel, or I want to, film my hunts or whatever, get you a tripod. Don't slow down till you've got a tripod, because y'all, it makes everything so much better. It's easy to just grab a phone, walk around and film it, and I do that occasionally. But when I do that, I am well aware that I am sacrificing quality image, because I realize when I edit it, or when y'all watch it, I know y'all realize it about make you seasick sometimes, because I get excited what I'm talking about and I'm just moving all around and it's like, and you don't realize that when you're doing it. You don't realize it till you sit down and start editing. So anyway, and I edit with an iMovie editor. I just, it's easy. But no, I don't do a lot of editing. I can adjust the color to certain clips if I need to in the pictures before I pull them over into iMovie. So I just thought, while I was working on this hat, and I'm almost to the end of this thing right here, I hope I've got it. But y'all, if I don't have this just like I want it, I can cut these seams apart and adjust it and tighten that up. I know that sounds crazy, like, oh, you just done that. But it don't bother me if I ain't happy with something to tear something apart and redo it. I have done it before. And a lot of times something like this, you're doing it for the first time, you don't really know what you're going to like the best right off the bat. Right. We don't have the head on, but y'all, we got a hat made pretty much. I mean, we've actually got the hat. With the head is just decorations. Oh, y'all, man, look at him. Got them ear flaps on it. My ear flaps ain't quite. What y'all think, man? Oh, look at there. Man, we big pimping now. Ooh-wee. Hey, all we got to do now, y'all, look, all we got to get now is the head. We're going to get the head put on there. I am going to... I don't know how I want to do this. Let me do some ciphering right here. I'm gonna be like old Jethro Clampett. I'm gonna do some ciphering. Come on. All right, I decided after much looking at this and ciphering and studying on it that I was gonna cut it down to just the head. It just looks so much better. Time you pin that up there. Cut the head off real small. Sew it to the dead center front of your first piece before you stitch that all together. That'd be the right thing to do. So obviously at this point I have got to, and I'm fixing to sit here and make all my holes, because you see how thick that hide is, y'all. Look at that. That is a thick piece of hide. So I am fixing to poke all my holes in this. And then I'll stitch it onto the hat some way or another. Okay, y'all can't see what I am doing, But what I done is I started in the center. I done lost my string now. And I'm working my way. I pulled my strings up even. And then I tied a square knot, dead center of the head to dead center seam of my hat. I'm going through the holes. So now what I'm trying to find my next hole here. So now I'm working my way to the outside. It's hard to see what you're doing because a needle and a hair look a lot alike, especially when both of them fuzzy. Come on. But anyway, I am trying to keep my stitches down in that seam. I'm working my way around, and it ain't gonna look too god awful bad. It's not gonna probably look professional. Don't, y'all, this is not professional fur handling and fur tanning and all such as that kind of stuff that y'all used to seeing, you know, on other folks' channels. But anyway, I was going to explain what I'm doing. So basically, I'm going in and out my seam holes from the center out, and then I'll come back over here and start center again and go center the other way, and then I'll put a couple of stitches down here. I'll pick you up when I get that done. This is time consuming. All right, y'all, now that took some doing. We finally got the head stitched on good and tight. Y'all, it looks good, really. But I'm fixing to pin this nose down. I'm gonna put me a stitch. Well, I'm knocking knives off there, so one of them had to stop me in the foot. Well, you see how that comes unwinding like that? Boy, boy, boy. I'm telling you the truth. Here's how you solve that. You get that hot, it just glue right on down to that. You ain't got to worry about it. Another time. Come on. All right, let's get this all right here out. Get this thing flip-flopped over here where I want it. All right, so we know we want that about right there. Watch it now. Boy, it's hard to find that hole, all that hair around it. All right, we finally got it though. Telling you the truth. All right, now I'm just gonna make 2 holes, and we're gonna tie that scannel booger right on in there. I don't want no, I don't want to see all that thread up here through the nose is what I was getting at. But let's yeah, buddy. We down for the count now. We got the needle through the hole. All right. Well, sir, you seen them things, and it'll come off when you do that. All right. We want to pull this mess right here up, and we're going to tie us off a good square knot off down in there, down in there, and then we're going to do, you got to be careful which way you cross them. else you'll have what is called a granny knot. Right, done deal. Singe this off, and we'll have had us a Davy Crockett hat here. Come on. All right, y'all. Let's see what we're cooking with here now. Come on. Oh, what we need to do is get us some chin straps. Come on. I don't know about that nose is sticking down there like that. That might have been a bad idea, reckon. Well, what y'all think? God awful. You know, if them flaps get on your nerves, you can... I may put me a chin strap on that thing, though. But anyway, we got us a hat here. What's it do if I ain't got that on? Oh, it fits good like it. Tail will come around there, hang around in the front of you. Man, what you talking about? Hey, thank y'all for watching Spirited Outdoors. We'll see you next time. Remember, the best way to do things, the way you like to do it. We'll see y'all.